All right, here we go, here we go. I think everything should be fine. Let me just listen to myself quickly. All right. Yeah, okay, that's fine. Bear with me, it's been a while, but I thought it would be. It's time to stream again. Check what you guys are up to. See if you have some questions. I've not really prepared much, but it's always interesting. I've got my YouTube up here. I want to go back at some of the timing analysis we've done at the start of the market, I guess the bull market, right? You guys know that I am of the opinion that the bull market starts when the market has bottomed, right? So we'll look at these, especially these two. I've renamed them over the years. I mean, look back here a year ago. We were talking about, or the news was talking about recessions coming, and I pretty much was adamant that the cycle continues. I mean, my Patreon is also very interesting. I kept posting about. Let's see some of the. So yeah, normally I just write these things to myself. Pretty much every large dip I wrote about what was going on, and kept saying that the cycle continues. The cycle continues. This was 24th of July, 2024. Kept saying the cycle continues. March the 4th, the cycle continues. There's an interesting analysis here as well. We can take a look at that. What did I say here? Fibonacci time analysis. We'll scroll a bit of Twitter. I'll take your requests if you have tokens you want to take a look at. Okay, it's printed extension. This is our next peak on 6 October 2025. Right, this was written in March, right? Everybody said talking about this cycle shortening. I'm just gonna chase my dog away. Move, Hanait, Hanait. I don't want them snoring here. Remember that time we were talking, everybody was talking about the cycle shortening because, as you can see here, it was quite parabolic and everybody was worried that this would be a left translated cycle or a shortened cycle. And I think all of these are for free to look at. I'm pretty sure it is. So do go to patreon.com/HansCrypto. I mean, this was 2 years ago, right? How far we've come. Timing, the everything bubble. I've been very vocal that we need to be going to see some major crashes that everybody's calling for. We have all-time high in major indices. And I pretty much felt that all of these assets are going much, much higher. And we've been pretty much on point thus far. Here I revisited the top and the bottom call. Let's see if we can zoom in here a bit. Okay, that's way too much. Let's see here if I gave some predictions about this, would suggest to be in a slower pullback. Okay, but I expect it over May, and then it was smooth sailing into the rest of the year and beyond. I still think we're going to see an everything bubble into 2026, as the 18-year property cycle predicts. As we've just seen, the S&P has this week moved into all-time highs, indicating the global economy is recovering from the pandemic and into a new phase of inflation. So what does this mean for crypto investors? It means that you should not be scared by the short-term volatility and you should focus on the long-term trend. It means that we should use the dips as buying opportunities and not to sell too early. Where are we in the crypto cycle? January 18th, 2024. Let's see if I made some predictions so we can compare BTC Steals the Show and then the pure euphoria in 2025, right? This is pure speculation, and we have one data point. So, I mean, I've been darn accurate to the cycle thus far. Although it's not been the easiest of ride in the pulse chain ecosystem. But we played around in Solana and we did pretty well there. And yeah, we'll see. I'll talk about pulse chain a bit. But Finesse, how are you, dude? What's your predictions for the cycle top? Are we going into 2026 or are we topping out in December? So all of my predictions pretty much have been that the cycle top should be topping where we are currently at, right? I'm still of the opinion that we should see at least 145 for Bitcoin, at least. But I mean, it can happen within the next few weeks, and it can happen pretty quickly. So we'll talk a lot about BTC. I would like to go through everything. It's going to be quite a dense stream. We'll try to cover as much as possible. Yeah, so we'll cover some of these because I think somewhere here, revisiting Bitcoin and predicting the next top. So this is probably a good one. I mean, this was 2 years ago, right?
We put it the tops for the altcoins in November, as Ethereum tends to top a month after.
Okay, so I'm saying here that November is the top for altcoins, right? And just for context, like people were saying that the cycle is left translated. And now, you guys, we're seeing the narrative develop that, you know, this is an extended cycle, right? Just as I was skeptical to, you know, to fall into the trap of the left translated cycle, etc. So yeah, we'll look at that. This is the extension here. I used different fib tools to measure from the bottoms and from the lows. I'll just mute myself over there. Look where we were. So I'm referencing these all. The bottoms tend to be
quickly a month after the 61.8 it bottomed. Where are we now? Yes, a month after it bottomed. Actually, it bottomed exactly if we take the end of April as the halving, exactly on that day. Just
look at the price of Bitcoin, 26,000.
Just like in 2018. Although the bottom was in already 2 months back in 2015. Either way, it is in that area. It's not supposed to be specific, but it's pretty darn accurate if you look at it like that. Now this gives us our top.
I think you guys can hear. I'll put up the desktop.
The top it is in this 1.32 print. So we would be expecting it if it prints as it printed in November. We would expect it 1 month earlier, which would be October 2025.
So October 2025, right? What's up, Richard's brother? Peter evolved. So yeah, we're pretty much here. So that's not only based on the 4-year cycle. Now the 4-year cycle is not the halvening, right? I did an analysis on the halvening as well, just to take it into. But I'm not really too much a fan of the halvening cycle. That says that 4 years from. I won't go into that because I'm gonna fuck it up. Anyway, what I'm more a fan of is measuring from the bottoms from one bottom to the next, or from one high to the next, to predict the tops from there. So you have the 4-year cycle, which is 4 years from the top to the next top, right? That's nothing to do with the halvening cycle. The halvening cycle is a different analysis. And then you can measure it from the tops as well. And then there's the Benner cycle, but that kind of shows that we should be topping it next year. We can actually pull up the Benner cycle here, just to take a look at it. Here we go. How do I get this bigger? Let's see. I'll pull this up for you guys now. So the Benner cycle also predicting the high 2026. Right, so years in which panic, so this is the top years in panics, so the next panic is 2035. That's probably AGI or the singularity. B is years of good times, high prices, and time to sell stocks and values of any kind. So this is where you should actually like be selling, right? And obviously then the C is the years of the hard time, low prices, and a good time to buy stocks, corner lots, goods, etc. The boom reaches the years of good times, then unload. So it showed that 2023 was a good buying year. So is that the start of 2023 or is that the end of 2023? So let's just quickly look at that. So if we look at Bitcoin here, we can say that pretty much it's the start of 2023 would be the buying here, because this is November, right? Where is the first? Okay, there's the first. So literally you caught the exact bottom. If you looked at the Benner cycle as buying at the start of the year of these indicators, right? So let's carry that same idea over to the selling years, which is 2026. This would put it at the start of 2026 should be a selling year, right? So, I mean, there should be selling here. Yeah, so it still kind of lines up with what our whole thing is, that we should be seeing the cycle top pretty soon, or it's already in. So that's 3 months. Let's measure 3 months back just to be fair. So you would have been buying this area here at 19,000 BTC, right? You're never gonna buy the bottom or the exact top. Never the exact bottom or never the exact top, right? So, I mean, if you started selling here, like I can't fault someone if they're starting to take profits here. And it's probably a good idea to do buying and selling over a certain time period, right? So we have that. I should probably just pull up my the course that I wrote like at the start. It has all of this info. Let's try and find it quickly. Granny. I'll just search Granny. Granny Investor's Guide PDF. Hopefully, yeah, this is not gonna work because it's opening it on Chrome. Let's see if I can open it. Open with, let's open it in Brave. There we go. Okay, so some of you probably bought this. I sold this for $50 worth of PLS, and the information in here is pretty dense and been pretty accurate thus far. I'll just skip about over the basics and we'll get to the time analysis that's on here. Look at Pulse Chain right at the bottom here. Crazy. Is Pulse in value? I mean, that is where value is at, and we're still lower than these prices. So where was BTC at? So I reused many of these slides from the previous cycle, and all of that data from from 2018 is still up here. If you want to take a look at what trading in crypto used to look like in 2018. Anyway, there's lots of info there. Perfect ETH bottom there. Okay, here's the Benner cycle. As buying here, okay, something of note is that it shows the B hand, the years to exit, it's 2026, shows the year to get out. This coincides with the 4-year Bitcoin cycle ending in 2025, late 2025, right? So here's the 16-year property cycle. Let me zoom in a little bit here. And it'll make sense as to why I sometimes look at, where is it now? The Home Builders ETF. I think it's this one. No, here it is. Home Builders ETF. This is a good indication of the overall property market, right? As people are building homes and renovating homes as the cycle heads into the peak, right? I mean, and this looks like a massive topping over here. So just to go back to the 2026, the 18-year property cycles, 18.6 years actually. Here's a 18.6 year property cycle, which has 11 cycles of data and 200 years of history. It shows we are in 2023, right? Which was, I mean, somewhere down here. Just open this. It shows it's just past the mid-cycle dip. So we were just past the mid-cycle dip in 2023, somewhere here, right? And we're looking to top out late 2025 and 2026. Once again, we have confluence with that date. So we have the 4-year cycle, we have the Benner cycle, we have the property cycle. All of these are showing to this region that we are in now. US election campaign, Brexit happened in 2020. So Kamala and Biden got elected there. We had the commodities boom. Let's just quickly look at the commodities chart. See, I haven't done this in quite a while. Oh, here we are. Bloomberg's commodity index. So that boom was in, right here, this massive boom. That's showing on the property cycle, this, right? And we can see it lasting all the way from the 20s into 2025. So we should be seeing a topping happening here, but we've been correcting hard, pretty much. This is actually now starting to break out, the commodities. So those are all your raw materials, right? Do we go into all-time highs? There's not much time left. This isn't to say that the commodities top with property, right? It's just a good indication of inflation. So, era of easy money, commodity booming, world's largest building announced. Let's see if there is world's largest building being built now. Let's see if there's anything interesting. The Jeddah Tower. So the Jeddah Tower is the largest building currently under construction, the Jeddah Tower in Saudi Arabia. It aims to be the first building to exceed 1 kilometer. Construction of the tower, previously known as the Kingdom Tower, has been stalled since but it officially resumed in 2025. Let's see if it tells us when this will be completed. Oh, so this was September 2025, so it's still in construction, right? What is interesting is that when the very tall opens, and it opens at the bottom of the cycle, there are no tenants. No one wants to buy it. 35 billion or 20 billion US dollars. And take around 10 years to build. When will Jeddah Tower be completed? Exactly at the bottom of the cycle. Look at that. 2029, 2026. So the prediction's obviously not going to be finished by then. If a prediction is given, just expect it to take longer. So it opens at the bottom. But look at that, world's tallest building announced, and it continued the construction in 2025. So the correlation isn't 100% perfect, but it's kind of there, right? So I've pretty much not really changed my opinion on when this should top out since the start. It would be pretty amazing, right? You guys saw that the 6th October was my prediction, and wouldn't you believe it that it actually made a new time high at the 6th of October? Look at that. Now, I'm not saying this is the top. I mean, a lot of that is just for entertainment purposes and kind of like a guide, not set in stone. We don't know, right? And I mean, we can go to higher time frames, and these higher time frames, I mean, they've been exhausted for a very, very long time. I mean, this thing is, I'll just clean up the chart, is throwing. This is the monthly, right? It's throwing divergences at the top here. In the past, this has stopped on one divergence. Look at that. One divergence confirmed, 3 divergences on the previous cycle. So they're starting to fire, although they've not confirmed yet. And I won't go too technical about it, but unless the pivot point gets taken out, these divergences don't mean much. So unless we lose 115, these won't be confirmed. But this is also the first time that, it's printed red previously as well. This was the 2017 on this indicator. It's flashing bearish signals, the same bearish divergences that topped us previously. We're still in bearish divergence, which we haven't gotten as high as these previous times. But these tend to work in trends, right? So I don't expect it to go as high as previous cycles, as you do have diminishing returns. So there's divergences firing on the monthly. It's now starting to print red, the same as it happened here. And this is also about the same time. Let's measure how many months this was. This was 7 months of red. I think we're at 4 or something. So 5 bars. I mean, this, technically, if we look at that, it could still go on for two more months. So that would put you at the end of the year. So this is definitely not the time to be going along on crypto. Like, this is where you should be thinking about taking profits. I actually got a friend that tends to be quite late asking me about XRP yesterday. So I don't know, maybe you guys can post in the chat if you've had any one of your family members or a friend that tends to be late in the cycle message you recently. Okay, so I mean, there's no bearish structure just yet, right? I mean, on the monthly, it's rare to see M's on the chart. And to be fair, the previous cycle, it's not going to be easy. It never is. Like, that's the only real bearish market structure that you had there, and then it lost at the bottom. But it still went with a scam wick up here. And from there, it created no structure on the weekly. Just a bearish engulfing candle. I mean, and look at all of these divergences forming up there. And it's not confirmed unless you start trading, we'll go with a line chart, unless you start trading below 19,000. So we're literally on the edge. I mean, there's many bearish cases to be made. You can draw a parabola. Now, I know this is just a curve and not a real parabola, but we're getting close to it. We've never really fallen below this whole cycle. Okay, let's just go through all of this and see what's up here. So this is the total market cap without stable coins. So these are the altcoins markets divided by Bitcoin. This just shows the strength of the altcoins, and they're pretty weak. They're literally at the bottom of their range. Previously, you just had, in 2021, you had the straight up move. This should have been this year if we wanted a straight up move, but this is now rolling over again. And we all know the whole narrative, right? There's been a mass dilution of altcoins through this meme cycle. It's taken so much mind share and taken all of that Well, we don't see. Yeah, it won't be on this chart because all of these meme coins are a flash in the pan. They never even make it to ranking sites. So it's much more complex than looking at the chart like this. This is good for your old altcoins, all of these that are trading on CoinMarketCap. And it's just failed to take off. And I mean, we're getting to the end of the cycle now, and the altcoins still haven't really done much. We talked about commodities. Commodities it looks like it's practically about to break out now. So inflation is about to come back. It's interesting that Elon Musk, the tweet's now deleted, but he did say that the tariffs, because he had the clash with Trump, right? That the tariffs are going to be inflationary at the last quarter of the year. And we've just started the last quarter, right? Dominance, Bitcoin dominance. This is definitely a top, the major top that's in here. Don't expect this to go much higher. This is like a dead cat bounce now before it rolls over again. I would be surprised if this even trades above 60% again. So maybe, you know what, I honestly think I've looked at many of the charts, listened to my favorite technical analysis, that there are about a 2x, 3x if you're lucky in the altcoins left. And we might have that once BTC tops, if it's in this month or the month after that. It is what it is. But they only have a 2 to 3x in them. Now, I don't know about what Pulse Chain is going to do. We'll look at that, we'll speculate. I'm not really impressed by the charts at all. So we've talked a lot about BTC. Let's just see if there's 3 down days already. I mean, it's getting close to... Anyway, pretty much most people think that we're going to retest this 18k area, at least before going higher. So everybody's shouting the double top here. I still think there's one more leg left into 145 at least. And if not, a lot higher. Some of the Elliott wave counts are very, very bullish. It's either very, very bullish or we have already topped. Let's quickly zoom out on Coinbase. I mean, nothing impressive. I mean, this low that we got in April kind of screwed everything up because this was a lower high. And this just looks weak here. All of the altcoins look like this. They've all had the run at the end of last year. Exactly the same as the previous cycle. This was in December. Oh no. Early in the year. So there was a little bit of a run in the altcoins, which is a little concerning. The dollar should be bottoming. This looks like a macro bottom in the dollar. You know, this is not good for any risk assets, right? And you can see the similarity to this bottoming structure here. Lots of divergences firing here on the weekly. Let's just zoom out on that and put some RSIs on it and see if these things are low. Right, just look at this RSI. Look, this is where the dollar bottoms. Some could argue that it could go lower. But let's just... I know there's a lot of stuff up here. And now I made this full screen and I don't have my... Oh no. Thank goodness that worked. Too bad that it ran this low. Otherwise, this is pretty good market structure for a bottom here. And if you put it on the line chart, it's absolutely perfect. A perfect double bottom for the line chart. So this is the daily. Let's go to the weekly. look at the RSI. So that is a bottoming here. Lots of bull divs for the RSI. This is the weekly line. Looks a lot like the previous bottoming for the dollar. I thought maybe you could get a retest to the previous breakout point, but this is strong. This is a absolutely perfect W there for the weekly. Although it's already launching out here and it's quite high already. I mean, it's only just starting this. And if we go to the monthly, I mean, this is about to form. Like, this is almost better than, oh, it's a perfect double bottom the previous time. You can see the little W there, right? But it would only be confirmed up there. This spells not great for risk assets, right? I mean, the stock market could have topped here and it's starting to distribute here. I mean, monthly divergence is firing very, very close to the topping extensions. I mean, look how it's very, very bearish up here, slowing down. Let's look at the daily. If it's got 3 red candles here, there's definitely, okay, not yet, not just yet. So all your risk assets are screaming, like, be careful here. You know, I mean, and gold is just going. I mean, I've got a target up here for gold. I mean, I don't know. You, the older guys can probably tell us that isn't this like a warning for a recession up here? I mean, gold has never been this high on the RSI. It's getting very close to these extension levels up here, like 420. That would be funny. What is also interesting is that BTC tops on these very, very, should I say occult numbers in previous cycles. Look at this, like on 69, bottomed at, that's nothing familiar to me. Look at the previous one, 19666. Like maybe 1 to 3 or 33 and 133k. Like I would say that's pretty an occultic or a cryptic 133 or just 33. If they really wanted to do it and top it at 133, I would laugh. So yeah, I mean, the dollar honestly looked like it's starting to bottom here. And if we plot BTC over this, let's just remove everything and make it a little bit bigger. And we'll plot where BTC tops out. So the first top, if we don't count the scam wick, this is where Richard Hart called the top last time. It's exactly at the bottom of. So if we take the second top, the market structure is pretty much confirmed and it starts breaking out, right? That is the retest of the bullish market structure and it calls the top for risk assets or for BTC in this case. So let's just, I mean, we can just plot the exact same thing here. So you see there's lots and lots of reasons to be cautious here. Right, so let's say that this is the market structure. It would be, that's confirming it in March already. I don't think it goes that far, but very, very close once again. So yeah, this could be a macro bottom for the dollar. So yeah, I mean, the dollar, especially if you're not an American, it's a good thing to have your cash in dollars before the market cycle bottoms again, because this will be quite high, right, when the next bottom happens, which should be a year, somewhere here. Maybe it gets rejected here. I don't know if it makes new all-time highs. The dollar has been practically an uptrend since the financial crisis, right? Let's see if we can pull up a trend line here. No, I don't like that. I don't like cutting off. Let's draw a few lines to see if anything lines up. Okay, yeah, that's better. So you need at least 2 touch points, right, to confirm a trend. So we've got this one, and you've seen confluence on these lines. A support there, and now it's found support on this level again on the monthly. So the reason why we're looking at the dollar, right, the dollar is inverse to risk assets, right? If the dollar has a headwind, all the forex against it goes down. So your Great British Pound weakens, your Euro weakens, your South African Rand weakens, and all risk assets as well weaken. Let's actually plot gold up here and see if we see any trend. So this was the bottom of gold. And interestingly enough, yeah, it's inverse again. So it's actually the opposite. So gold bottomed when the dollar peaks. And no, I'm sorry, I'm confusing myself. What was this? Oh yeah, this was still earlier in the year. So this was gold's bottom down here. What was the price? At $1,000. It's $1,000 per ounce. Bottoms when the Dixie tops. Dollar high. Gold very, very low. I mean, this is going to mark the top for gold as well. I don't see it otherwise. This can't continue on forever. Eventually, people would start taking profits in this. And this looks like a macro bottom in the dollar here. I've said it maybe 3 or 4 times again. If you want up only for risk assets even further, this should break down here now. The only saving grace here is that this is technically a V bottom, but not on the line chart. But I think the candlesticks are very, very valid, more valid than line charts. Because yeah, anyway, won't go into that. So this is what you want to see if you want the risk assets to continue going higher into next year. This needs to collapse, right? With that being said, let's quickly go look at Tether dominance, right? This tells you how much of the market share stablecoins hold. Now they're constantly adding more, but this has been valid. So we can put up a crypto here. Let's put up Bitcoin here. And let's just flatten this out a bit. And we'll plot tops on Tether. So the first top here, many people called to the bottom here on BTC at 19k, and then it continued down to 15k. And if we plotted on the double top, that was the exact bottom. So we should see the inverse, right? When this bottoms, crypto tops. Okay, let's look at these bottoms here. That was the scam week. The first top in BTC. I mean, it happened for quite a while. And then that's the second double bottom there. And that marked it the exact top of BTC in the previous cycle. Now, if we expect that trend to continue and the top is already in, I mean, it's made its perfect, the double bottom here already. You see, maybe it makes a third bottom, right? But you can see the symmetry of these two patterns here, right? That's your W. So we'll look at the indicators and see if there are any divergences here. Let's pull up our divs. This is the weekly. So a lot of them are firing here. I mean, it didn't even fire divergences at these previous bottoms, whereas now we've got 3 and another one firing here. If you're a bull, you want this to roll over. Support needs to be broken. You could pull up some fib tools. I mean, did that go to the 61.8, to the golden ratio? Yeah. Just above the golden ratio. Let's see what it looked like in the previous cycles. It actually went to exactly to the 61.8, whereas we're slightly above it now. Oh, what am I doing? No, it did stop before it. I was looking at this, this is the peak here. Very, very similar to previous cycles. Pretty oversold at these levels here. Let's go to the highest time frame. This is the lowest the RSI has ever been on the monthly, and we've got divergences firing here. This will only be confirmed as a bottom as soon as we trade above 6.2. If we are close to the top, why haven't any of the top indicators even come close? Oh, you're talking about like your pi cycle top, the MVRV, minor capitulation, those indicators. I mean, I would say, why did the rainbow chart fail in the previous cycle? We're not going to get close to, we're not even close to the pi cycle top just yet. Not even close. And I 100% agree with you that those indicators are not overextended at all. But if we're looking at classical technical analysis, the indicators are there. They're extremely overextended. And we're looking at, the pi cycle top. These are indicators that are crafted for BTC. Because it hasn't even fired yet. Let's put up the trend line, show the moving averages. Not even close, right? Did it even fire? Yeah, you have to go down to the weekly to see that it did fire. Yeah, the pi cycle top. And this, you can argue that this missed the top, because this was the technical top over here at 69. And we're not even close. You're looking at like, for today, if we were to hit it today, it's at 200,000. And the top happens when the slower one crosses with the faster moving average. That is the actual indicator. You see it crosses here for the first time, and that marks the top. These two are extremely far from each other. But let's look at this red chart. Price never traded below it, except for the COVID dump mid-cycle, right? But look at the uptrend, like the really parabolic phase that lasts for literally from October, more than a year's time. It never trades below it. But look what it's doing here. We've traded below it during the parabolic phase many times before, below the... And it's at 114k now, which is just below us. This would have to go extremely parabolic for a very, very long time. And maybe that happens if Trump fires, if Trump becomes the king of the United States and takes over the Fed and just prints money for some reason to debase it further. I don't know. It seems so unreasonable to me. it would have to, on the SPY cycle theory, it would just have to trend extremely hard, right? Do you get what I'm saying here? But I do 100% agree with you. These conventional BTC crafted, and I'm using, yeah, they're specifically crafted for BTC. I used to have one on here, but it seems to be gone. Let me see if I can find it. Some other indicators. Yeah, the MVRV score for BTC. We'll look at this. I actually bookmarked it because. So the MVRV, I'll just take the BTC price off. It always, BTC tops when this indicator gets to 9. Let's put up BTC here. So that was the top here. The other top, let's just see here, realizes more than standardizes is based on the value of transactions on the Bitcoin chain. You see they're looking at transactions. They're looking at fundamentals. We can do technical analysis on this chart, and the first thing I would do is I would pull the downtrend from here to here, because we can see that these are getting lower each time, and people are using the Bitcoin blockchain less these days. It's all of these things are settled OTC and never really on market, except for the OG whales. They'll move coins to exchanges and then sell off there. So I mean, and the fact that BTC is so expensive, you don't really, the price itself, not the transactions to transact on BTC. But as you can see, this score has only gotten as high as like 3. And it peaks out at this 5 area and 6 area, 8, all the way up here. So this hasn't spiked at all. So this is another crafted indicator for BTC, which isn't firing tops at all. But this is, someone has to get trapped, right? The market is a tool to of transferring money from the many to the few. So someone has to get trapped, right? Yeah, maybe it's I'm a little bit too bearish, but I did say I think we do still see 145. But the timing is coming to the end now. Ethereum still hasn't broken above all-time highs. It actually has, and just got rejected. This is a pitiful, but I don't see ETH going above 7,300 this cycle. I'd be very surprised if it traded above this. And I was quite vocal about the fact that I didn't even think ETH would get above 4K, like somewhere here. Because just the time was up, right? If we thought that the cycle would end where we are now, there wasn't enough time for this move to happen. And it did, it's just V-bottomed out of this straight up. There's just so much inefficiency in this move here. Because some would argue that it was extremely oversold. You know, but it came back. This is like as catastrophic as what the COVID dump was for BTC. Like the COVID dump came all the way back in the previous cycle to retest previous breakout levels. Look at this. This is how catastrophic that was, that move for ETH. Just broke all market structure, right? And straight up from there. It doesn't have that it's an insane wick that, you know, BTC recovered this in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. It looks a lot like it. But I mean, what are our altcoins going to do if this is in fact at the top? That is scary. Thoughts? I think everyone believes RH will pump the chain, but why is he waiting so long? Isn't everyone already rinsed out? You know, the best thing you can possibly do, if we're being honest with ourselves, is, and if we want the best price performance, we need another bear market for Hex and Pulse Chain, because there's so many people that got really wealthy off Hex, hey, and they still have their stakes, and they've got 15-year stakes. I'm pretty sure some of them can already end their stakes. I'm not sure. I thought it was in November that these guys can start ending their 15-year stakes and getting their principal out, but then losing the yield they've gotten. So if they want it out, they can. I think it's in November, but don't quote me. I haven't been staying up to date with fundamentals that much. Yeah, I'll just start reading your comments, because I've gone for quite a while already, almost an hour, and we haven't really even got to. We are, okay. What's up, Mexican says Tintop. Diamond Hands Degenerate. Swifty. X Down Under. Hope all is well with the dogs. They're very good. Back in July, the next door neighbor demanded I show him how to get his 100 into crypto. I haven't seen the normal FOMO yet from my dad yet. Interesting. Do you factor in the GRM indicator for BTC? Let me take a look into it. What's that? GRM indicator BTC. Golden multiplier explained. Let's look at it. Human challenge. Interesting. Underperforming. It kind of tops out at this. Oh, okay. Let's go back. It peaked on the purple or pink line. Then it peaked on the bottom one, which is the brown one. Then the cycle after that peaked at the blue line. So if we go on with that trend each time, it peaks out at the line under that one. We should be seeing one on the yellow, right? We can't zoom out. Oh no. Let me just refresh it. It's already hit the yellow line once before. Now you probably have to go in and see. Okay, so in this cycle, I mean, you could have, yeah. I mean, what does this tell us, really? There's the rainbow chart as well. That was the indicator of the previous cycle. Trades below those levels. You know what? It's pretty. It's a pretty chart to look at. But when do you know when to sell? Do we just go off each line, reduce it? Then you would have already sold once already. Oh, as well. Okay. If cycle is nearly over, I will be caught holding the bag. Still DCA, my favorite things. Don't worry, dude. I round tripped life-changing money in Hex. Still holding my PLC. Is it over for the project in your opinion? Do you think we can still hit some of the target prices mentioned in a couple of years ago? I mean, they thought we were going to be, you know. You know what? I'd be surprised. I'd be very happy if we hit SAC, right? And because most of these things have at least a 2x in them. If we're looking at the older coins. We have some relatively good market structure, right? We've still got higher lows and higher highs recently. Like, we'll just plot that out. That low has held. This low has held. We probably, I mean, it's going to test us. It's probably going to come pretty close to that. But let's just, I don't think I finished my point. Just we might need another full bear market and another full bull run for this to really take off. So once again, I would think it would be kind of silly for Richard Hart to pump this, because he's going to give the same people exit liquidity who's wrecked at the charts, right? Who's got massive staking ladders. You know, those guys did well in the start of Hex, but we've carried all of their profits over. Like, I got a large pulse chain bag from like one or two stakes that I sacrificed at the top, and I was just a squid, very, very small compared to some of these other guys. So yeah, I mean, we can look at indicators. You'd be very, very happy to see sack rate. You should be very happy to see sack rate in this cycle still. I mean, I don't even know how I would pull a fib extension on this. I thought maybe this was the... It isn't the cleanest, you know, the cleanest W. I mean... It is what it is. I would probably like to see at least 4 more years of consolidation for this, because there's large bag holders that have now turned on Richard Hart that are very, very like people like X Toys. Like, I don't want to make enemies, but those Richard Hart made many of them very, very rich, and it's just like some of them have already left. Like, I'm talking about, like, Hodl Dog doesn't even post anymore, he just retweets. RG3, see them often. They funded, you know, pet projects like documentaries and things. Don't you think that these guys would be very, very willing to exit and still have large staking ladders that have now doubled, that are still in Pulse Chain? You know, it's not the best idea to be bearish at these lows. You know, this is probably, there's some bulldoves here. This can easily double you out here. This can actually be the bottom here, the local bottom, because there's your divergences there. Not only on the line chart, but the candlestick chart as well. Let's just pull up our fib tools to see. I mean, I don't want to be bearish on the short term, because this is where you should actually be interested in longing this asset here. It doesn't mean it can't go lower. It'll actually be cool if we come all the way down to 2500, which would perfectly retest these previous breakout levels here. Like, I actually won't be surprised if we come to 2500 here. And I'll long that. I'll actually long that, because I'm looking for that 2 to 3x's on the altcoins. You know, that's a free position for me, maybe even a double, a third double. You know, if you go from 25, this would be actually perfect. Like, look at this. Your first double is at 5,000. And then you're going to have another free position up to sack rate. Right, there's your 3x for into the euphoric altcoin season that tends to happen after BTC tops out, which can happen in November, as I said recently. So, you know, BTC tops out the end of October, maybe. Then we get our altcoin run, tops out at 145 or 133. If RH pumps a couple of meme coins really hard for cheap instead of the cores, bring attention to the chain. I'll just go back to that. The reason there was a season on Solana is the fact that Solana was the only coin that rallied. Now, recently, we saw more of these ecosystem meme coins, especially on BNB, And the reason it happened on BNB is because the BNB chart looks like this. This has nothing to do with pumping all meme coins. And in fact, you're going to get people, snipers like Almighty, that holds a lot of meme coins, RH meme coins. You're going to give him exit liquidity, like $4 million bags, right? Like, this is the reason why. I mean, this looks like a major top here for BNB as well. There's no divs firing. Let's look at the stochastics here. But this is the reason why they had a very short-lived meme season. I don't even think it comes back, because the market is so finicky. Some of these, like, look at these. I mean, like, these are the trending coins, down 98%, 92%, 89%, 88% in the last 24 hours. If most of them do a 10x in a day, it will get attention. Now you're gonna give people exit liquidity, and the meme narrative has moved on. I know some of you guys, you know, I launched actually and kicking all of these things at the start, right, when memes were actually well timed. But it's too late for meme coins now. It's the narrative has passed from that, and they're destroyed. I mean, look at the Solana top meme coins on Solana, right? Pengu, and these things are okay. There's Pengu, there's Trump. These are the top meme coins, right, on the chain. And look at them. Look at these things. Destroyed. Now Pengu is doing really well, actually. But this is an existing NFT project, and I wouldn't chase this up there. This is a downtrend. You know, it's made new lows here. This is probably going to come back all the way back here. Don't really know if you can call it a meme coin. This is more like a NFT project with... I know this is probably not the things you guys want to hear, right? But just as exact same as people didn't want to hear that the bottom was in when I was saying the bottom was in, that the bull market has started. Look at Fartcoin. These things are wrecked, right? No, I hold many of these altcoins. I mean, this has at least had a little bit of a run. Right back to previous breakout levels. Now, I don't think that's a good idea, because it's not really got the mind share. And BNB got some mind share, and it lasted for a day. Absolute destruction. Just because CZ kind of sounded bearish. It wasn't even a bearish tweet. I hold a bit of those just because from the money from does flow into them. That's exactly what I've been saying. RH should pump some of the organic project on Pulse Chain, not the cores. No, guys, many of these tokens, yeah, I don't like most of the altcoins on Pulse Chain. Many of them have gone to zero, and we've forgotten about many of them that had all the narrative, like your Finvesta, your GIFs. Yeah, actually, let's actually look at BTGC. I mean, it's the only one. Now, this is not a bullish chart. The fact that I tweeted negatively about this once got me, you know, they tried to cancel me on racism accusations. But this is guys, this is the break of massive market structure. And I'll just show you guys this. You know, I'm longing a chart like that. Perfect double bottom and a higher high, eh? This is the weekly scale. Others equal other core coins. There are only 4 core coins. In my humble opinion, obviously, like, you know, don't listen to me. Like, I'm simply a dude on the internet. Like, if I had to plot lines on this chart, you know, you'd be shitting bricks, right? There's your first support level. This is probably the most successful token on Pulse Chain, like without a doubt. And I didn't do well on this. I faded it horribly. Didn't buy dips on it, you know. Never promoted it. So, but if this is a real bear market, you know, PTGC is coming straight back to the floor. And we're looking at other coins. I don't know. Can we see the most in the pillars? Hopefully, if it's a bottom here. I mean, yeah, we can go through these. Hopefully, you're not holding a bag down on this thing. Okay, the PLS ratio. This is so much liquidity for people to exit out of. To be fair, I mean, it's not the prettiest bottom. Oh, it's not even a W, guys. Let's look at the indicators to see how that's. Yeah, the thing about these, it's weird, these pump tire tokens, they hardly ever get oversold. Like, look at this. It looks like there's a massive sell wall above this price. Let's see if there is a 9mm pool here. Let's see here, 9mm pool. Not really. Not at all. No. That's weird. You know, you can argue for bullish divergences as this has been going down, right? I mean, from back here already, right? As there's divergences, but then you need a W. I think this is too large to look at this. These bottom ones, the lower market cap tokens, have been very profitable to me, and I mean, we bought a lot of them, but then again, I've sold many of them on the small little bump. It's just not, yeah, it's just not there. You know, these are all retesting previous breakout levels. And then they've caught a little bit of a bid because there are some people on Pulse Chain that want these to do well. I mean, this is not bad. Like, it's a nice uptrend. But it's now too late to get to this. This is already left value. It would be a waste, honestly, to pump these tokens. Because the holders of these meme coins are so finicky. Like, they sell as soon as they see a profit. I mean, when I buy these things, like as soon as I have a free position, I'm selling it. Like, and I have tons of free positions in these coins that I'm just holding. I might actually start closing some of them by the end of this year. Like, probably close all my altcoin positions. You know, you don't really have to gamble on these things. When there is a narrative, it's quite clear and it's easy to catch them, especially on Pulse Chain. Now, I actually want to check this out quickly. This is nothing. I might actually want to get some of this. Yeah, I should maybe get some here. I've been buying most under 2 cents. Okay. Under 2 cents, okay. Do you think Richard Hart pumps this? Shake of my own bags. The next year is a little different. Yeah, okay. Quickly, let's finish up this live stream. I'm quickly going to go through the Pulse Chain assets. We talked about PLS a little bit. I mean, there's some bull devs here. Let's actually look at it on TradingView. Let's see if we see anything different here. And this RSI has come down nicely finally. We are. I mean, I wouldn't fault someone if they, you know, started nibbling, like nibbled a small percentage there, right? And if it goes lower to this 24, I would have another order there. The RSI is coming down nicely. We're not going to have bull divs on this. There's not much time left. So some divergences firing here on the short term. Potential divergences. And you can see higher lows here. We can pull up the MACD as well. So on the short term, we're getting closer to it being a buy. Obviously, there's no structure yet. You can see the bull divs here. I mean, from back here already. The MACD is very, very quick. It moves. So there's a div from there to there, from there to there. Once again, no, I actually don't want to share that. It has to trade above this swing. Once again, you have to wait for that W to confirm. Probably we see some consolidation. I don't know. We might get that final dip down to 2,500 with BTC going to 18K. So that last sweep into here, we get that little W, and that's the last pump. We clear these highs over here, and we clear this high here straight into break even for the whole ecosystem. So you can imagine, what do you make of the business cycle chart correlated to BTC? No, Dane, I don't really know. What is the business cycle? No, I don't want to comment on something that I don't really have an idea of. Is that the M2 chart? So let's check it out. This. So obviously this is valid. We can see the low, the high. So it's the weakest. You know, this wasn't the best bottom back here. That's why, you know, charts will come back to retest at these levels. You can see the major wicks in here. Yeah, so on the short term, it's pretty close. We're almost there. I can't fault the granny if she wanted to start nibbling some here, but expecting these lower levels to get hit. But if you start losing these levels here, you know, close those positions, because then this floor is going to fall out. But I honestly do expect these to hold. Let's quickly look at XRP. I mean, Link actually lost some very important things. So this is technically a downtrend, right? New low, lower lows. So one of the few coins that actually performed well. Some ugly market structure here. You know, that could be a macro top there. And now another M there breaking out again. Let's quickly look at Link. You know, this is retesting the M. It's kind of trading above it now. And getting extremely rejected here. And this is just above the reload zone. It's actually crazy that these things haven't performed at all. But look how rich they made the people from this massive run up here. This is a lot like, I mean, making hex holders rich. and they're just selling and selling and selling and selling. So they're still up majorly at these levels. You know what? I'm either right on the bearish view or I'm extremely wrong, and this just goes absolutely parabolic, like breaking above all-time highs. But we need a lot more time. You know, that is why people are calling for an extended cycle, because they need longer time, and that's not how the market works. It's never that easy. Let's look at the video here. I mean, it's just freaking just going. Next extension here at 220. It probably hits that. I mean, this is like huge high levels here for pretty much everything. You know, that's what I was always in the back of my mind, is that they're going to collapse this economy under Trump. Like, they've set it up with all the money printing in 2020 and 2021 to just absolutely wreck the conservatives. I mean, he's got a lot more years left in his tenure. They always craft the narrative well, so I wouldn't be too concerned about your favorite politician. ISM Purchasing Manager chart. Oh, come now. While my PC is freaking out. Let's close these tabs. Screw that. Yeah, I quickly wanted to go through that. So yeah, I'm kind of watching the chart a little bit closer now to see if I can catch the next W. Maybe even catch it on the 4 hour. Was there any dose here? There's no dose even here on the 4 hour. If you count that wiki out, I mean, that's an ugly wick. Very ugly wick. Okay, let's quickly cover some of the ratios for you guys. Yeah, you know what? I'm most probably just gonna stick around, and look at Pulse Chain again the next cycle. You know, these guys that are staked in X, we're not going anywhere. We've got, 10 more years of this. So, I mean, that's the catchy thing about this, is that, there are people that are stuck in this, and it's got mind share. Some people can sell and never ever look at the chart again, but not X. It's still gonna be here, and the community is still going to be here. I mean, that's your uptrend there. It won't be surprised if it finds support there. Does look like it. Let's look at the RSI. This is hidden bulldoze there as this chart is lower. See where most of the volume was traded on this chart. So we've lost the point of control. Let's go to shorter time frames. So once again, there's bulldoves there, but no market structure there. You've got location, you've got bulldoves forming. It's not confirmed yet, and we don't have W's yet. And I don't trust this 4 hour. It either traps me. There's a 4 hour W there. But so it's definitely time to look closely at your altcoins. It's probably the last flush out before the 2 or 3 X's that some of them do have. So yeah, let's quickly look at the Pulse X ratio. So strong divs there. This div is actually confirmed, yeah. What's that? 50. Yeah, so this bull divs. There's some divs there. Another large div there. let's quickly check out. I mean, it's not really in location, so unfortunately I have to let it go. No, I'm not chasing this here. So nice bull divs there on the 3-day as well. I mean, and Pulse has underperformed its ratios. But I don't know why Richard Hart wanted to fix this ratio, you know. There was a lot of Pulse swapped into Pulse X to get it right up to the ratio, you know, to make those guys whole. And it went straight to 1 to 1. And down. This is the lowest it's ever traded at. There are monthly and the weekly, but either way, if it's not trading in here, I mean, I'm not going to be interested in it. No, I want a lot of upside, so I'm gonna have to let it go. Hex, and I'll cover these ratios and we'll finish at that. Let's just quickly look at Hex's USD value. Shit, yeah. It's come straight into these previous breakout levels. It should start finding support here, really. We really have to start finding support here. Let's see if there's most likely divs between these areas here. No. It's getting oversold. Worst case scenario, it runs these levels. 0.5. It's probably going to set up a nice bull divs there, which coincides with that last leg down to 2500 for PLS as well. Let's quickly look out the ratio. But I mean, this is very cheap here, right? You definitely have location. This is kind of where you should be interested. We're right at the 78.6 level again. Let's see what the point of control is doing. Yeah, 0.005 looks very, very likely here. This will give you nice bull divs down there. This is going to take a week or two more. But you can just see the sentiment already. The sentiment is horrific. Yeah, that's actually a good request. We'll take a look at that. EX, I mean, this chart looks better than most, right? We're literally bumping our head against resistance instead of at support levels, right, with these other assets. You can just see the decorrelation here from EX. And I definitely won't be swapping my PLS for Hex here. Like, this ratio it's way too high here. But the USD value does look good, and these are divs, right? Shouting at you at divs. But unless it starts trading below this, it's not confirmed. But this is very, very high and very, very risky. I mean, this can all come all the way back here, and these ratios have been very, very lucrative to trade. I mean, I called this breakout like to the T, like literally here at 43. And that was a double for you all the way to 46. Yeah, so you could have gotten a free position here. You know, sometimes I just wish I'd take my own trades. Yeah, I mean, I would be taking some profits into PLS here. Very, very high. But I never close my full positions because this can obviously still go higher. Let's just quickly take a look at that PLS and ETH ratio before we move on, before I forget. I mean, look at this RSI, guys. I mean, on the monthly, it is as low as it can get. Horrific. See this late? No, it's not really. Okay, let's start jumping up on time frames. You know, there's nothing here really. What's this? 35.83, 35.68. You know what? The best thing that can happen here is for this to close green on the weekly. Oh man. What indicator shall we use for this? No, it's probably best to just take this chart and divide it by ETH. This one. We'll smash enter and see what it gives us. Shit. So, I mean, lots of divs, even confirming down here. I mean, I can't see anything from that. I mean, it's, you know, it's the first time we're showing bull divs. You know what? Unless we start seeing W's here on the weekly, or at least I mean, we can go down. We can really try and find something here. You know, this Willy is firing a buy signal down here, but you can just see how long it took for it to. You can just wait for the W. I mean, put it on the line chart and wait for that W to confirm, right? There's no reason to keep catching the falling knife here. I mean, you've got the V, you know, you've got the V. You need that higher low to come into form. And that's your buy signal there. Unfortunately, you have to watch the chart closely. That's the life of a trader. And if you've been a holder on this, yeah, not fun. Yeah, let's not do extensions to the bottom. Nothing here just quite yet. But at least these are kind of good to see thus far. I mean, I can do the 4 hour for you guys and see if there's anything there. Oh, we can't go lower than that. It's at least a little bit bullish, a kind of a doji and a bullish engulfing on that. But this is a V bottom. It's going to have to do a higher low. So, I mean, definitely EHEX looks the strongest. Its USD pair looks the strongest, I would say. EX versus HEX. That's the bottom of the range. This is the top of the range. You know, it does look like it's, I mean, you can even go and put the breakout level there, which is now confirming that. Jesus, this will make some people very, very angry if this actually extends there. Yeah, I mean, you can go straight up to these and it's going to happen very, very quickly, all the way to 6. You know, EX probably holds its value while all of the others have one more leg down to the 2500 area for PLS. I'm not chasing this here. I would be selling some EX for X here, but not the whole position, because you can see it can go up all the way there. This is going to be a very, very quick move if it closes candles above this breakout level. And I would even say you should consider this breakout level as well, because this was a valid double bottom that closed it there. To be fair, I gave this trade publicly to everybody on my Twitter. So there's no reason you should be chasing any of these ratios for EX up here. And ink. Yeah, so I don't know. I for some reason I think I said put everything into ink here or something. I can't remember. But this is now bear divs here. Once again, it's way too late to chase this. You know, it's already showing some weakness here on the daily. I wouldn't say it's the prettiest of bottoms here, but it is what it is. Never did it get into value. Well, it bounced off the 61.8. So if you were blindly just buying at said levels, you would have had a little nibble there. 3-day, weekly. It's just holding support here at the lows. It needs to continue holding these levels, you know. If we do lose this range, it's going to go all the way down. So that's another 50% down. But I don't think it's going to lose these levels. I should sell some Peacock here, actually. I know I bought the bottom. Anyway, guys, there aren't really any. Can we see ink? Was that good enough for you guys? Let's just actually see. Oh. Am I really gonna have trouble with this now? Normally, it's so much easier to search for keywords on your mobile. I can probably go through here. Just a lot of charts. Let's look at BDI. Let's look at the BDI ecosystem to see if this thing has pegged it to $1 yet. I mean, it's at previous breakout levels. Invert the bear. Die. What the hell? Oh, that's not the right one. Sorry, this is the right one. It's not great that you have to find loops to find the right bears. How is there 16,000 buys on this thing? Jesus, this monthly looks bearish. Previously, it made these nice little W's on the monthly before breaking out. You see there's another one here. I can put it on the line chart. WWM. You guys, the only way this ever gets to $1, and I know some of you might not like this, is if it does it organically. There's no secret conspiracy behind this. But they've crafted an incredible narrative, and I'm quite impressed with the psychology that they've worked out. Someone knows how to craft a psyop in this ecosystem, because they have done an incredible job. I did recently go long on this, and I'm kind of regretting that. And this never gets oversold. It's so weird. It's just tagging along. It looks like everything else on Pulse Chain. It's just absolute brutality. You know, you've at least got the point of control just below you. So it's still a 20% move. It's not really good market structure. These wicks are incredibly ugly, and they've got another Better Bank reload scheme going on. So I mean, just be careful out here, guys. Don't, you know, the best saying you can ever learn in crypto is that men lie, women lie, But the charts do not lie. They never lie. Don't believe narratives, right? We've all, just try and recap all of the narratives that we've seen this cycle, and especially just look at Pulse Chain. The narratives crafted around it has been not actually just from Richard Hart, really. I mean, but just from community members. And the best thing you could have done is to sell your free airdrop as soon as you got it. These guys that sold the top up here, and went straight into BTC. They did the best. Or the best would have done to at least sell half of your... Because let's say you were... I mean, this is actually a good conversation to have, to recap everything. Always sell 50%, the 50% retracement of an airdrop. Would have gotten you out at 0.5 of sack rate times 5. But obviously, if you at least took your free position from your sacrifice, because we all almost had a 3x or 2.5x. It's just because a 3x would have been 4 up there. At least I should have, if I'm talking about myself, I should have at least taken off 50% here and put all of that into BTC. Like that's what you should be looking at, right? The vast majority, or if we summarize the cycle, is if you had 95% in BTC, which is the same if you're trading on the stock market, is you should have 95 of your savings or your risk assets in the S&P, 95 or at least 90%. And then you will stock pick just to increase the size of that 90%. Like you'll play with 10% around, you'll put 1% maybe in Nvidia, 1% maybe in Netflix, 1% maybe in PayPal, and you'll sell half when you have a double, and you put that that free position that you got, or the double that you got, you put it back into an index. Like in this case, it would be BTC, right? And no, this won't make you rich overnight, but it will keep you safe, right, from destroying yourself. Because picking stocks already is risky. Picking cryptos, that's even more risky, right? So we don't have an index yet. It seems like we're starting this. There should be an index by the next cycle, crypto index, right? So you have 90 to 95% in that index, and you'll do crypto picks like ecosystem picks that you like. You'll put in 5%. I mean, I'm not going to go into risk management here, and I don't think it's the place and the time to be, take the bear market that is upcoming and learn, right? Maybe learn some classical technical analysis. You don't have to learn it from me. There are many sources out there. Don't go into people that go with fractals. Now, the examples of fractals, and are you guys probably familiar what fractals are? People will take past history and says it looks a lot like what is happening now, and projecting that further, saying that this is going to be happening because this has happened in the past. Ignore fractals. Just learn basic technical analysis. I mean, if you learn anything, learn how to manage risk. It's kind of what I wanted to talk about there. Is if I had like 90% of my cryptos in BTC, and every time you have free positions in altcoins, doubles, triples, 4x's, you'll take that profits and put it back into either an index or BTC, in this case in crypto. I know that is not sexy. No one wants to hear that. Everybody wants to get rich quick. But these guys that get rich quick tend to lose everything pretty quickly after that. So this is a long-term game. Right, and I'm not a financial advisor. I actually don't know much. You should talk to your financial advisor about these things. So I'm going to call it at that. This has already been almost an hour and 40 minutes. Sad that this has come to gold, silver, Bitcoin get all the love and we get nothing. It is what it is. I try and learn from what you have learned thus far. I mean, many of us still have a lot of time left for investing, right? It should be a lifetime game. And I don't think it's over for this. It's most likely it needs another cycle. And maybe by then we have digital IDs rolled out across the world. We have CBDCs, and we really need a freedom chain. It's not really materialized just yet. But I kind of get what Richard Hart is doing, guys, because I don't want to scare you, but we're going to have to use digital signatures on the blockchain. This is most likely the mark of the beast, where you're going to have to authenticate if this is actually you, because we're not going to be able to tell the difference pretty soon. So it's either that or AGI kills us in the next 3 to 5 years. It's going to be a very, very weird next few years, and I honestly hope we get out on the other side alive. It's either that or Jesus returns. Hopefully the latter. I wish you all the best. Good luck out there. And I'll do this more often. I enjoy it. Like talking to myself. But anyway. Cheers, guys. It's been crazy, but we've had a lot of fun on Discord. We took really, really good trades. I mean, I traded throughout Pulse Chain's cycle. We caught many of the better performing coins. I kind of started losing concentration because it's been a long 4 years, and we're getting to the end of it, and probably wasn't as locked in as I should have been. Yeah, I hope you guys at least did some. Like I did pretty well. I've got stable coins for the next cycle, and I'm looking forward to buying the next cycle bottom. Yeah, the ratios has been well, and I gave a lot of those good trades publicly, especially the Pulse X trade when I was still streaming with KTP. We looked at that bottom that formed, and I was pretty vocal at the highs about Pulse X. You could have swapped all of it back, and I made a lot of Pulse. I just should have sold more of the profits I made from meme coins and PGIF and Finvesta and all of those things. I should have sold more, and especially when the meme coins started taking off on Pulse Chain. It did really well on them. But I should have, instead of taking all of those profits back into PLS and writing it down, I should have traded more. I should have traded Pulse more. I should have taken at least 50% of the profits that I made. I should have taken into stable coins. I could have had 3x more stable coins than I have now. But I've learned so much, and it's just, I'm excited for the next cycle, and I think that's a pretty good place to be. And I've got dry powder to buy the next one, and I have more Pulse to buy on the Pulse Chain side. I have stable coins on the Pulse Chain side to buy this low that might come. If it doesn't come, I have more stable coins that I'll just hold into the next one. Yeah, so pretty much to sum it up, I should have traded more, should have had large percentages in BTC. Like, if you go to my Patreon, you'll see this is how we used to trade these. We used to take profits into BTC. Like, this is the ratio of an altcoin to BTC. Buy them into the reload zone, sell them into doubles. I mean, there is a little graph here of how, from my Binance account, it's just one. I should never have deleted these. Never should have deleted these. But look at this. I started with just $2,000 on this account and ran it up all the way to 12,000 just by trading ratios. Effortless crypto. Yeah, and we used to trade like that, and I should have probably not. Yeah, you make mistakes and you learn. And that's the exciting thing about life, right? The journey. All right. I've said goodbye 3 times already. Cheers. Hey, man, like 1 year ago, I was in your group and traded the memes. Great stuff. There's many times we did really, really well, especially on the Richard Hart traded most and launched most and pump, and I gave all of those meme coins in the Discord and then posted it live here on Twitter. I mean, I can find it somewhere. I don't think it's a good idea to start looking for it now. On those, I put like $12 onto those things at the bottoms. They were still on the bonding curves and made thousands and thousands of dollars on them. Yeah, this cycle pretty much has taught me, especially with Pika, with Charizard. Like I sold a dick with butt. I sold all of those things on the way up. And at the time, at the highs of those, especially on Pika, it literally felt like my insides were dissolving. Like, how stupid could you have been? But they've all come back. And after all, the granny continues to be the GOAT. Like, I mean, Pika is probably trading like, I mean, I still have this watch list here. It's crazy. Up 22%, but I mean, look at this. Look, it felt terrible up at the highs here. And I continue to sell this thing just up and up and up and up and up and up. And there's many, many, many deep with butt. Many of the did incredibly well on this token. Like insanely well. Like literally bought the launch, told people how to buy it. So yeah, I mean, hopefully, it's going to be the same again the next cycle, and I'll be here. Yeah, that's great to hear. If you had some experience in the cycle and we can carry it on to the next one, we'll just do it again. And I'm going to be here again to trade it. I'm just going to trade more ecosystems and going to trade a lot more. Yeah, I'm excited for the next cycle, and I hope to see you guys here as well. So yeah, I'll say